Hello, thank you for taking the time to view my Teachers and Technology presentation. My name is Jamie Schaller, and I will be explaining my 2017 to 2018 internship as part of ET 691. I was very excited to start this internship because I was used to having a lot of staff members ask me questions regarding technology. So I thought that this would be a great way to help teachers become more confident in utilizing technology in their classroom. When I decided what I was going to do for my internship, I made a clear outlined goal of what my expectations were. I wanted to provide teachers, instructional assistants, and other staff members at my school with opportunities to utilize technology in their classroom, as well as collaborate with other teachers and students in a meaningful way. Oftentimes, teachers use technology in their classroom, but it's not meaningful. They create placeholder projects. As part of this internship, my goal was to have them make projects, activities, and assessments that were exciting for their students. Prior to the 2017-2018 school year, I came up with a plan for my internship. It was difficult at first because in the last 3 years, my school has had 3 different administrators. So I had a lot of great ideas of things that I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure if my new principal was going to like those or if she had any idea what I was going to be talking about. During the summer, before the school year began, I set up a time to meet with her, talked about ideas, things that may have or may have not worked in the past, and she was actually very receptive to the ideas that I had. She decided that it would be great for teachers to spend time coming to professional development sessions with me, as well as have opportunities for them to schedule individual sessions so that we could work on specific goals. After I decided what specifically I wanted to do, I created my internship proposal outlining specific points of my internship. This proposal had a very detailed timeline of when certain things were going to take place. For example, I knew that I wanted to survey teachers to see what they were interested in. I wanted to provide them with a newsletter monthly that would help them find resources that they could use. In that resource, I wanted to also make sure that I highlighted teachers using technology in meaningful ways. And then I had some sort of professional development session followed by a survey to see what teachers learned, if they found that the professional development session was important, or if they found that the professional development session could be utilized in their own classroom. Prior to the first session starting in October of 2017, I spent some time creating a Tech Tuesday newsletter. The first newsletter documented some information about me, helping teachers understand that the goal of the professional development sessions wasn't to make them feel like they had to come or make them feel like they were being given more work. It was to help them feel like their life was made easier. I just wanted them to have opportunities to collaborate with staff and to give them tools to utilize so that technology could be used in the classroom to help them and have their students have fun in the classroom. I didn't limit this just to teachers. My goal was to also provide it to instructional assistants or IAs, as well as any behavior interventionists, any speech language, any related services, or even additional adult assistants if maybe they had something they were working on for stations. I made sure they understood that I love technology. I've always had an interest in it, so my goal was to make it fun. I also had a Google Doc that I sent out just to get them motivated on different topics. So in the newsletter, I presented 4 topics: Padlet, Kahoot, ActiveInspire, and Screencast-O-Matic. And my goal was to give them a little bit of information about each specific type of tool and then have them vote on which one they wanted to learn about first in October. So once they picked that, they then voted for a time that they found would be the best for them to attend. in the newsletter, there was also a section that detailed exactly what they needed to do. First, they needed to sign up and pick a topic that related to them. Then they could practice. They could watch a screencast that was on YouTube about the topic first, so they got some background information. So by the time they came to the session, they could just create materials. I wouldn't spend a lot of time talking. Yes, I could give teachers information as they needed, or if they wanted specific help on topics, I would be available. But I wanted them to take this time to really collaborate and create. Then they were sharing their materials with everyone else, and then they could reflect on how they felt the professional development went. Any positives, any negatives, anything to work on. Finally, after I had given them the Tech Tuesday newsletter, I looked through all of the results that I was given, and I was a little disheartened, to be honest. Out of 68 staff members, only 16 responded to the survey. Yes, some of them talked to me in person, but they didn't provide the actual data that I was looking for. 9 individuals surveyed out of the 16 said that they use technology daily. So that's a little bit more than half that use technology every day. My goal was to improve that and have them using technology in a way that would be really motivating, engaging, and fun. 9 of them also said that they would be willing to attend a professional development after school. The other group stated that they would come only if they were able to be paid, and unfortunately that was not something I was able to offer in my school. Out of 16 individuals, 13 of them said that they wanted technology to be fun in their classroom. So once I received those results, we determined that Active Inspire was the first session that teachers wanted to learn about. Prior to the in-person professional development session, I created a YouTube video so that teachers could see a little bit of background information of Active Inspire. Yes, most teachers definitely already knew something about it, but there were some that only had a basic understanding of it. The video can be found on YouTube under Teachers and Tech, Topic 1. After teachers had an opportunity to watch the video, we spent some time creating. There were 14 teachers that came to the first session, which was Active Inspire. Teachers created resources for social skills, for math, for reading, and all different areas. One specific resource that was really great, that was beneficial to not just one teacher, but many, was the calendar math creation from Marissa Katz, which can be found on the Teachers Using Tech page of the November newsletter. Marissa was looking for a way to incorporate calendar math in her classroom. There were programs she had used before, there were paper and pencil options, and there was a big bulletin board that she had in her room, but it wasn't really working for her students at the time. She needed something that was a little bit more hands-on that could be completed independently or with partners, so she wanted to create a calendar math resource. We'd spent a little time looking at examples online and found one resource that we knew we wanted to tweak. It didn't really work for our students, and we had some other things that we wanted to add in. So we've created a calendar math resource that had the calendar, tally mark work, time work, money work, and lots of other resources. Students could access these every day. They could save it and it would build on what they did the day before. They had access to just click the home button easily, and they had a step-by-step way to get through the calendar math flip chart. The best part was that Marissa made this, but it wasn't just for her. She shared this resource with other teachers in the building so that they could access it if they wanted. While it might not have been completely appropriate for students in 5th grade teachers could take this resource and then modify it based on their own needs. After the first session, I sent out a survey to find out what people liked about it. I asked them questions like, would you actually use this in your classroom? Did you learn something new? How was the instructor's knowledge on the topic? Would you attend another professional development session with this instructor? And what else would you like to learn about? And here are some of the results. Out of 14 teachers, 8 said that they would be willing to use this in the classroom on a regular basis. 4 said maybe, and 2 said no. Those 2 teachers found that it just wasn't exactly what would work for them. Maybe they were social workers, or maybe they were speech. They came to learn about it, but they weren't sure that they were going to use it as of now. Almost everybody in the professional development said that they did learn something new about Active Inspire, which was really exciting to see. Once the results were handed in, it was time for session 2. Session 2 started with the Tech Tuesday newsletter. In the newsletter, I highlighted some of the awesome creations that were made as part of the first professional development. I also talked about the next topic, which was going to be Kahoot, provided some technology tool highlights, and I even explained that there would be a new way to sign up for one-on-one sessions. Teachers would be given a form that would have different time and date options where they could pick which topic they wanted to learn about. After that, I explained in the screencast that Kahoot can be used for a variety of things. Many teachers use it for assessment, but it can also be as a fun way to engage students. It can be used for pre-assessments, and it can be used with a couple different features now. The teachers that attended the PD found some really great ways to use it. For example, the art teacher created a review on an artist and some of their paintings for students in the 5th grade. The speech teacher, who works very closely with one of the ELA teachers, created a resource for students on each chapter of a book that they were reading. Not only did they use words in their Kahoots, but many of them used pictures and some even used videos, which I thought was a really great way to show different levels of understanding. After the professional development, I sent out a survey to all participants. 5 out of 6 said that they learned something new about Kahoot. All of them said that they were able to create something that they could use in their classroom, which for an instructor was a great thing to hear. I'm glad that they could make something that was actually meaningful to them, as opposed to when I go to professional development and I don't always get to make things that are valuable to me. Each participant rated the instructor from 0 to 5 on their knowledge of the topic. The highest was 5 and the lowest was 0. Out of 6 participants, 4 of them stated that the instructor knew 5 out of 5, so that was the best rating, and 2 said 4. Once I collected the survey results and analyzed them, it was time for session 3. Session 3 was all about Padlet. First, teachers received the Tech Tuesday newsletter with highlights on teachers using tech from the previous professional development, and they also received the Find a Time scheduler. Although during session 3 there were no individual sessions requested, teachers did attend the Padlet session in person. Teachers were presented with a screencast explaining ways that they could use classroom rewards in their own classroom. As a school-wide initiative, we had talked about ways to engage students throughout the whole day, allowing them to earn breaks throughout different time periods. As part of this session, my principal asked me to create a resource that teachers could post their rewards to. Since I already was doing a professional development on Padlet, I thought this was the perfect opportunity to get staff to use Padlet. If they could demonstrate that they knew how to use the program, they probably didn't need to come to the session. Once we had the session, there were a lot of great resources that teachers created. I saw some that created exit tickets, some that had links for their students to check out, and some that had pictures with prompts in them. The end survey provided some great insight again. Everybody stated that they learned something new. And one question that I really wanted to ask as part of the survey was what teachers plan to use Padlet for. This chart you will see on the right was given to the teachers who attended the Padlet session. Teachers were allowed to answer more than one answer choice, so the results look a little different than if one specific teacher answered only one choice. Most stated that they were going to use it for assessment or for question and answer responses, which is what I was expecting. But I really did like that some stated they wanted to collaborate with staff and some wanted to share links. After the 3rd session, it was time for winter break, so I sent out the mid-year evaluations. These were only given out to the people who had attended professional development sessions with me. Although there was a higher number of teachers who actually attended, only 12 filled in the responses, despite having multiple emails sent and opportunities for time for them to fill them out. Some of the responses were pretty interesting. I had about 75% of the people who took this survey actually came 25% of the people who didn't even come to any professional development sessions. That was okay though. It was good for data purposes. The next two questions were those that were really interesting to me as someone who had spent a lot of time making screencasts and the Tech Tuesday newsletters. I asked teachers if they even watched the screencasts prior to the PD or in lieu of attending the PD, and I was honestly shocked. 75% of people who responded said that they didn't even watch the screencasts. Those videos that I took so much time to create, people didn't even watch. Similarly, a lot of people didn't even read the Tech Tuesday newsletters. More people read them or somewhat read them than not, but it was a lot of time spent. So one of the other questions I had added in was if people would rather have opportunities for one-on-one professional development sessions. And surprisingly, a lot of them said that. Nobody had said no. I don't know if that was because the ones who said yes were those who didn't attend the in-person, or if people just like having one-on-one attention more than not. By giving out this survey, I was able to better understand the needs for the staff in my school. I took some time to analyze these results and decided that creating screencasts and the Tech Tuesday newsletters was not the most appropriate for my staff. Instead, I decided that I would still offer group professional development sessions or individualized sessions, since that was what most people wanted. I found having this mid-year evaluation provided an opportunity for me to be very reflective and better understand that sometimes things need to change despite the fact of how much time and effort we put into them. It is important to grow and change as you conduct professional development. Once we returned from the winter break, I was recharged and ready to go with one-on-one sessions. Although this was a 4-month period of a lot of sessions that I had, just wanted to outline some that were really interesting, some that were my favorites, or some that were things that I hadn't done or tried before. Many teachers really wanted to collect data or find ways to make their lives easier, so Google Docs was perfect for this. On this page, you'll see 3 different Google Docs that we found to be very important in our school. One was the student preference survey. This was a great way to find out what students liked as rewards, which is huge in our school. Students at the beginning of the upcoming school year will take this student preference survey in the beginning to try to find out what they like and things that will motivate them throughout the school year. The best part about this document is it outlines each individual's results or as groups, so we can put students who like all of the same things in groups, or students who like individual things in groups, or you understand what to use in your specific classroom. The other great thing about this document is that as new students arrive at our school, we'll be able to still use it and find ways to make it meaningful for each new student. The next document was the referral sheet. We have a paper and pencil copy of this, but the problem is, out of all the referrals we get, if there were 100 referrals, for example, we would only get referrals for about 75 of them instead of all 100, which is crucial for data collection. With having the option for teachers to fill out the referral sheet digitally, they won't have to worry about bringing the copy to support or forgetting it or not knowing what to put. This is one centralized digital form. The form then calculates into episodic data, telling us what the behavior was, how long it was, where it occurred, and we can plan accordingly. The final Google Doc that is outlined on this page was the lockdown drill question and answer. We determined that our lockdown procedure was not what it should be. We had a lot of confusion as to what was expected during these drills. So we created a document that had information about protocol for lockdowns. We asked if teachers had opportunity to technology, if they could lock their door, if they could communicate with others, what the plan was. By creating this document, we found out that there were a lot of staff members who had no way to communicate where they were in the building and if they were safe. We then determined that there was a lockdown form that would be put on everybody's computer so they could easily click it if they needed to fill it in during a lockdown drill. We also decided for those rooms that didn't have a computer or if staff didn't have access to it, they could do a special thing on the walkie, or they could fill it out on one of our other assisted technology devices. Other one-on-one sessions yielded some great projects. On the left, you'll see a very fun and interactive flip chart for a 4th grade science unit called Turtle Trouble. The flip chart shows the actual ISN. It has an article with active links. It has spots for questions and answers to already be filled out. And the turtle that is located on the bottom of the picture actually takes them to a whole nother game forum. So it was very interactive for students. They could do it as a whole group, or they could do it individually or with partners. On the right, you'll see an image taken from a screencast. This was pretty cool because teachers were wondering what they could do to make their lessons more interactive, while also explaining things if necessary and making subplans. So this was an example that I had created for them to better understand. We then took lessons that would be beneficial to them and made screencasts off of them. Finally, at the end of the year, after all the one-on-one sessions I had conducted, I had end of the year evaluations. I only had 16 responses, despite that there were more participants, once again showing that staff involvement was very low. The first box talks about how many professional development sessions people attended. Just shows that people who didn't attend any didn't fill in the survey, which was good. Many said that the instructor was very knowledgeable about the topics, and it was great that nobody said they disagreed with that. I wanted to see if people felt like their professional development sessions were beneficial to them and their time was used appropriately, since we only had short blocks of time for the most part. Very many of the responses stated that they strongly agreed with that. Next, I asked them how often they plan to use technology in their classroom for student engagement or success. It was interesting to see that a lot of them stated they used it every day or at least 3 times a week. Technology is definitely an important part of our curriculum. It's definitely an important part of student engagement. So I'm glad that teachers felt comfortable enough to use it in their classroom. Finally, I had some open-ended questions. I had some people state that they really liked the individual sessions because it was easy to follow, they were quick, they were personalized, we got a lot done, and they were able to use the tools in a real way rather than just replacements for other activities. I also wanted to see if they had any comments or concerns regarding the professional development. Many didn't have much to say, but it was nice to see that they enjoyed my help and that they were able to create great resources and that they plan to use it next year. Thank you for taking the time to view my portfolio. This internship has really helped me better understand how crucial it is that educators understand the importance of technology. It's not enough just to use it to replace everyday activities. It really makes a difference when the activities modify or are redesigned from the original curriculum. I've decided after this that I want to continue to help teachers in any way possible with technology. I've taken on a new role at my school next year, where I will be the tech liaison for the building, as well as I will be switching to the library media specialist. I'm really excited to get to use some of the tech tools I've learned in the library, having students become more confident using technology. I found that this internship made me go a little bit outside my comfort zone and talk and interact with staff members that I previously would not have had an opportunity to talk to. I have found myself utilizing PLNs throughout my internship and really valuing and better understanding my colleagues. I'd like to take a minute to thank the colleagues in my building for allowing me this opportunity. It was great to work with them. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my peers for all their help throughout this cohort. Couldn't have done it without them, and it was great getting to work with the same group for the amount of time we were together. Finally, I'd like to thank all of my teachers and my supervisor. This was a great program. I learned a lot, and I'm very thankful for all the time I spent in classes. I look forward to interacting with you in the future. Thank you again for taking the time. If you'd like to contact me, please feel free at jschaller@bcps.org, on Twitter at STEM to Library, or on Instagram from STEM to Library. Thank you.